So, today I want to talk about how to have self discipline as a feminine woman. Ignore my mic, it is broken. I have no idea where the snap part is, where it attaches to your shirt or whatever. So, we're just going to jump right in. Um, as a feminine woman, your first question about self discipline is, well, what if I want to lay in bed all day? As it should be. And the answer is you need to follow your heart and you need to follow your healed heart. So, how to have self discipline as a feminine woman, the basics are pretty simple. You have to heal yourself, you have to heal your wounded inner child, and you have to reparent yourself. Self discipline at its core is something where you show up for yourself consistently every day, and you do that first by reparenting yourself and showing up for yourself emotionally and mentally in that way and meeting the needs of your inner child that were not met. So the reason that your inner child wants to lay in bed all day is because they never got to when they were a kid. So at some point in your journey, you're going to want to lay in bed all day, and you need to let yourself. You need to let yourself do that for as long as it feels correct for you to do that. Um, for as long as you need to. Uh, I'm not going to tell you what to do or how to do that process. That's going to look different for everybody. And I probably won't go into how it was for me, but it was a really messy process. Like, I quit my job. Um, I didn't go into work for a long time. But that was a pretty intense healing process for me personally, one that I was able to go through because I was self-employed. And yeah, so, sometimes in that healing process, things can get very, 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 very messy. And they look a lot like laziness, but it's not really laziness. It's you just meeting those needs of your inner child to be seen and heard and listened to. And sometimes that looks like, well, I need to lay in bed all day today. I have not, since I allowed myself to do that, I've never done that since, and I've never felt the need to because I don't want to. I don't want to sit around and lay in bed all day. I mean, it's pretty rare. Like sometimes on a weekend, like maybe I'll scroll my phone until like noon or something, just because I feel like it, or like I'll read, a story. But that's pretty rare. It's pretty rare that like I don't want to like actually do something. And this is coming from somebody who used to be really, really lazy and like really not want to do anything at all. So the reason that we don't want to do anything and the reason that we lack self-discipline is because, as I just said, your inner child's needs are not getting met, and they were not met properly by your parents, particularly your father figure. Because self-discipline is a masculine trait. So when I say masculine, I don't mean man, I don't mean woman. What I mean by masculine is masculine energy is that container that contains that life force energy. And when you want to lay in bed all day, what it means is you have no life force energy to contain. So you need to build up a container for yourself so that that life force energy can start to build within you. I hope that makes sense because that's kind of the role that fathers play in the lives of children, or whoever your most masculine parent is they're supposed to play this role where they teach you how to take care of yourself, and they do it in such a way that makes you feel safe and that makes you feel like you're not missing out on anything. And part of self-discipline is also like being really, really in tune with your emotions. So if you're not very in tune with how you feel, then self-discipline is going to be very hard for you, or it's going to be really easy for you until one day you just break down and you don't know why. So like you're like bulldozing your emotions every day instead of actually meeting your needs. I see this a lot in more men than women because men are more disconnected than women from their emotions. So if you're like showing up to a job you hate every single day, 40 years later, you're like, I quit. Fuck this. And you don't know where it came from, but the whole 40 years, you've been ignoring your heart. So that's a form of self-discipline that I would consider negative. It's not actually self-discipline. Actual self-discipline is healthy, and it works with your heart. It works in conjunction with your heart. It doesn't bulldoze your emotions. And self-discipline isn't led by your emotions either. I want to make that very, very clear. So on my self-discipline journey, I didn't have any self-discipline. I'm just gonna be straight up, like, real honest, real embarrassingly honest with myself. I had no self-discipline. I couldn't pay my rent on time. I went shopping all the time. I bought all this like shit that I didn't need that I no longer have any of it, by the way. Like, oh my God, in my 20s, like I went shopping all the fucking time. I spent all my money all the time. My rent was never paid. I always had a late notice on my door. I always had to pay late rent. I always, like, my electricity would always get shut off. And so I would finally be like, okay, I guess I gotta go to work now. And this was when I was a stripper, by the way. So I could just go into work whenever I felt like it. But I would buy just all this shit that I didn't need. I would drink all the time. I was also drinking. I had a substance abuse problem and a mental health problem, which also contributed. But the reason for those things was because I did not have that proper inner child relationship with myself. I did not have that proper self-discipline from my childhood. I did not have a dad who had a lot of had a lot of self-discipline teachings to teach me. So because he was not very self-disciplined either. So one of the family karmas that I came here to solve was that ending of that cycle of a lack of self-discipline and a lack of unhealthy masculine, a lack of healthy masculine, inner masculine, basically, and a lack of healthy outer masculine as well, if you know what I mean. So self-discipline, yes, I was really, really bad. So this just so that you know where I'm coming from. Like, I know exactly what it's like to be not self-disciplined. And so there was no, consistency to my life. It was just pure chaos basically all throughout my 20s. I had no structure at all. I had no security at all. I had no safety. I was just all over the place. I was a mess, like everything was just, I had no guidance. I had no direction. I had no inner compass that I was following. I had no inner containment. So that's where I'm coming from. So I know what self-discipline is like now. I'm very self-disciplined now. And the way that I healed that was I repaired my relationship with my inner child and I gave her what she needed. And that was not an easy process. And it wasn't that I actually even set out to learn self-discipline. I just thought that I was going to I have no self-discipline for the rest of my life. I genuinely did not think that it was a possible thing for me. I thought, all right, well, this is just who I am. I'm not a self-disciplined person, and that's okay. But it turns out that that's not true. Self-discipline comes very easily to me. It's very natural to me. I feel like I have a lot of, I don't know, maybe that Capricorn energy where it's like I am actually very orderly and very disciplined in a lot of ways, even though I'm not at the same time. I don't know how to explain it. I think it's because I have such a great relationship with my inner masculine now. But I am going to teach you how to do that. Just so you know, I do have one-on-one coaching available. We do a free interview beforehand. So I will interview you, see if you're a good fit. It's a really fun interview. I love doing them. But click on the link below. I have a Calendly app, so you can schedule an appointment with me if you would like, and we can discuss further from there. So what if you want to lay in bed all day? You're a feminine woman. You're like, I want to lay in bed all day. Okay, so do it. Do it and watch your life collapse around you. And when that gets uncomfortable, say, okay, this isn't working for me. What do I need to do now? Where do I need to heal? Or you can say, I'm going to lay in bed today and I'm going to ask my inner child what she needs rather than, waiting for your life to collapse around you, which is what I did. A lot of this like feminine energy stuff coming from the internet is it's like basically the little girl energy that didn't really have a dad. It's painful to say that, and it's painful to admit that to ourselves, but that is the truth of this energy. A lot of it is, I just want to be taken care of by a man. I don't want to go into work a 9 to 5. I don't want to have a hustle. I don't want to hustle. I don't want to learn any of it. I just want to be able to do whatever I want, whenever I want. That's little girl energy, and I totally understand it. I do. I totally get it. That little girl inside of you needs to be able to kind of do what she wants for a period of time. And you kind of need that period of like a lack of self-discipline, I personally think that's what your 20s are for, is just kind of going wild and free. Um, if you did not, for me that was how it was anyway. For you it might be different, but this like so there's this fine line between, oh, I don't know if I want to go there, because it's not really about a fine line. It's about more, what does your heart need and what does your inner child need? So sometimes you need to lay in bed all day. Sometimes what you need is to, oh my God, sometimes what you need is to kind of go crazy and be free and like let yourself really fuck up your life and like let yourself really not pay your bills on time so that you learn how uncomfortable that is. And so you can make the choice, do I want to keep doing this or do I want to change? And if you want to change, which I'm assuming because you're here, that's you. If you want to change, what you do from that point is you learn to speak to your inner child and ask her for what she needs. And so what you do is you sit with her in meditation, put your hand over your heart, and you envision her. You connect into that part of you that is a little girl. And you say, hey, how are you? And she'll tell you. And you ask her, what do you need from me right now? And if your little girl is conscious and aware, she'll tell you what she needs. But if she doesn't trust you, what she's going to do is she's going to say, I don't know. I don't know what I need. I don't know. Who are you? You know? So sometimes you have to explain to her, I'm you in the future. We're all grown up now and I'm taking care of you. And you don't have to do all of these things that you feel like you have to do. You don't have to go to school anymore. We're not in school anymore. We don't have to go to school anymore. And if you want to like express your feelings about how it was going to school, for you, how hard that was, then you can do that right now. Like, I'm here right now and I'm here for you right now. And whatever you need to tell me about what's going on with you is okay. Just sit there with her for as long as it takes for her to express herself to you and express what she needs to you in a genuine way. And when she does that, you give it to her. And if you can't give her everything that she wants right now, you can tell her that. You can say, I would love to give that to you, and I'm going to work on doing that for you. And I'm going to work at it every single day. And it might just be one step at a time, but I'm going to get there, and I'm going to do that for you. Okay? So, that is how you repair your relationship with your inner child. There are other ways to do that too, and it's an everyday kind of thing. So it's like every day you have to honor what she wants and what she needs. And I don't mean that you're ruled by her. I mean that if she needs you to, maybe do less at work, then you do less at work and you honor that in the way that you can honor that. And you let her know what's going on so that she builds that level of trust with you and she starts to feel safe with you. And then, so for going deeper into this, it's also about doing things that you know are good for you, like brushing your teeth every day. So something that I do see in people who have that lack of containment within themselves is a lack of self-care and it's like a lack of respect for themselves. And it's almost like there's this act of rebellion. So they're rebelling against caring for themselves. And the reason that people do this is because they feel like, well, there are lots of reasons that people do this, but when it comes to it's a self-discipline thing. The reason that people rebel against that is because they feel like they're being forced to do something that they don't want to do or that they don't really see the benefit of. So when it comes to having self-discipline around things that you know are good for you, what you do is you find how that's going to make you feel in the future to do that for yourself, and it's going to feel good, and you bring that feeling into the now. So instead of saying, I don't want to brush my teeth right now, I'm already in bed, you think, But in the morning, my breath is going to smell really bad if I don't brush my teeth right now. So if I go and brush my teeth right now, not only is my mouth going to feel great, but I'm going to go to sleep and I'm going to wake up in the morning and my breath is not going to smell as bad. Okay. Do you see what I'm saying? So instead of thinking, oh, I don't want to do this right now, think about how am I going to feel when I do that thing? And is there a way I can make this easier on my future self by doing it right now? Same with going to the gym, eating well, doing the dishes, cleaning your house. All of these things are in the realm of self-discipline, and the best way that I know how to do them is to think about how they're going to make you feel to have them done and be like, oh, I want to get there. I want to get to that place, so I'm going to do them now. Okay? Makes it easy. It's such an easy process. This is why I say self-discipline is easy, because it's like when you know what feels good to you and when you know what's right for you, you're like, oh, of course. It's like a duh. Like, of course I want to feel good. Of course I want to feel good, not just now, but in the future. So, of course, I'm going to go brush my teeth right now. I'm going to go wash the makeup off my face. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to eat a salad instead of like 5 cookies. Right? Okay. And I think if you want to make it really, really easy on yourself to do the things that feel good to you and to do the things that feel like love to you, then healing your heart is the best way to do that. And healing your heart is like when you start to do this process, it's automatically you're automatically reparenting your inner child because you're going back and you're healing those wounds from the past. So the more you heal your heart, the easier self-discipline just becomes. It's not something that you have to work on purposefully. So it's like, I mean, you can if you want. Like, you're like, I really am struggling with self-discipline. I'm going to go into the wound around self-discipline. You can do that. I don't think I ever did that. Maybe once. Maybe I think, yeah, there was one time. I think I went into self-discipline one time. But like, and it was because I hated going to school, so I didn't want to get a job because I thought that a job was just going to be like school. And then I thought getting a job meant that I like, people are no longer going to take care of me, that I'm all alone, that I'm going to have to hustle for the rest of my life. But that's not the case, like, so I think I went into that one time and I don't think it really helped. What really helped me with self-discipline was just seeing how good it feels to have the things that doing the hard things makes me feel. And so that, like, all of the heart healing that I've done has led to the self-discipline, but I never really worked directly on self-discipline. I just worked on healing the wounds that needed to be healed within me and reparenting my inner child and healing the wounded inner child within me. And slowly and gradually, she became more and more and more self-disciplined and more healthy, and she feels more very contained now. Right. So let me see. I feel like that's kind of the heart of it, right? Is that understanding like, well, this is good for me. This makes me feel good, so I'm going to do this for myself. So what's the difference between that and bulldozing yourself? That's a question I'm going to answer. If it feels like bulldozing yourself, then don't do it. And what bulldozing feels like, you can find out what it feels like in your body specifically by going in and sitting with your inner world and saying, does this feel like I'm bulldozing myself, or does this feel like the right correct path for me? So sometimes, especially as a woman, you have different cycles, and during those cycles you're going to need different things, right? So as a woman, it's really, really easy for us to pay, when we learn about our cycles, it's really easy for us to pay better attention to our bodies and what's right for our bodies in the moment. So sometimes, ow, my back hurts, sorry. Sometimes it's right for me to go to the gym at 5 in the morning because that's right. It's right for me. It just feels good for me. But sometimes it's like, no, I actually need to sleep in today. Even though we're told that we're supposed to work out every day, that's actually not the case for women. So I would suggest like really getting to know your body and what your body needs, and seeing, is this dogma or is this correct for my body? Because the dogma says you need to work out 30 minutes a day every single day, or you need to like do HIIT, or you need to do fasting every single day, or you need to eat keto, or you need to be a carnivore or whatever. But your body says something different. Your body knows exactly what is right for you, and you learn that through listening to it. Every single day, have a journal that you pay attention to your body's signals and say, this eating this felt good to me today. I have this amount of energy. I got this much sleep. I pooped today. This is what, like things like that. Just basic like stuff for taking care of yourself. And again, for that self-discipline part of doing that daily journal and keeping that daily journal, it's about how am I going to feel in the future when I look back and see all of this information written down that I put all this work into, even every single day, just making one note. It doesn't have to be extensive. It doesn't have to be hard. But if you look back, a year from now, look at how much you're going to learn about your body in that 1 year just by keeping that one daily journal. Okay. I have completely ignored all of my notes, by the way. I've just been going off of like what I remember about how I've cultivated self-discipline in myself. Let me see if I need to say anything else. I think I did talk about acknowledging your feelings and emotions and like meeting yourself where you are. So if you're like, I need to lay in bed all day, and I need it, then you need it. Okay, lay in bed. You need to lay in bed all day. You need to honor the things that you need even when they're not convenient, right? Like I remember a couple years ago, there was one time I was just starting my business, and this was I had a virtual assistant business, and I was trying to get out of sex work, and I was like, I have to work, I have to work, I have to work, I've got to work, I've got to work. But I couldn't, nothing was coming through, and I was trying for hours and hours for something to come through, and it was just like, I was so not there. And finally, I was just like, what do I need? What do I need? And I was like, I need to read. And I read all day. I read all day. I read from dawn to like dusk or whatever, I read all day. And I thought, this feels great, but all of the narratives, all the dogma says, no, you need to work every day. You need to do every day. You need to show up every day. But I didn't. I showed up to read that one day. And guess what? The next day I got so much work done because I had renewed myself. I had refreshed myself. I had paid attention to what I actually needed. That is self-discipline. Okay? Ignoring the dogma and paying attention to what you actually need, not what somebody else says you need to do. Okay? That's self-discipline. That leads to healthy self-discipline. That's feminine self-discipline. That following your heart it's a little twisty, but it leads you directly to where you need to be. And I got so much work done that was like and it just like spewed out of me that next day. Okay. I think I already covered the inner child. And I said that, she needs to know that you're an adult now and that you're taking care of her now. And she's not in that space where she has to, like bow down to her parents anymore. She's not in school anymore. She doesn't have to wake up at, 5 a.m. every day or whatever to go to a school that she hates. Hopefully you're employed in a job that you like. And if you're not, then, that's a different video, but showing up every single day to a job that you don't like, you can make that a self-loving practice by thinking, what does this get me? Where am I going? Have a goal in mind for that job. Have an end goal in mind for that job. Don't just show up to something because you feel like you need to be there. That's another thing is like, if you really, really hate something that much, I'm not going to tell you to quit, but I'm not going to tell you to stay. Because at some point you need to respect that, this isn't working for me and I need something that works for me, at least somewhat on my way to something better. Hmm. Meeting your inner child's needs. Let it be a gradual process. You're not going to become super self-disciplined overnight. So a thing that I see is that really leads to a lot of failure is trying to get everything done all at once. So one of my favorite, I think it was from the book Atomic Habits, 1% Better. I don't know if this was actually from that book. I think I listened to like the audiobook for like 15 minutes. But I think it's that 1% better rule instead of saying, okay, every single day I'm going to do a full body workout. No, I mean, if you're just starting to work out, go to the gym for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and just do a simple stretch routine or whatever. But just show up every single day and do just that one simple thing every single day. You're going to make a hell of a lot more progress than if you just try to push yourself really hard every single day and you can't show up every single day perfectly, so you're like, well, fuck it. Throw all your progress out the window just because you can't be like do a full body workout every single day. That's ridiculous. Let yourself take it slow. Just let yourself show up every single day imperfectly. You don't need to be perfect. Girl, you see how many typos are in my posts? Are you kidding me? Like, no. Do you see how like I show up, at the ass crack of dawn with no makeup on, with like my titties out in bed in my last video, like I just had to record a video. I was like, I need to record a video this month and I'm awake and here we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it now. That was me imperfectly showing up. Um I think I just spoke about not doing things out of fear or obligation. Align first and then do them. So that's what like the things that you really hate to do. Ask yourself, is this really, really aligned for me? Or do I need to find a different way to do this? Or do I need to throw this aside? Because some things like we feel like we have to do, but we don't really need to. We make things harder than they need to be. Like I said, just that working out. I need to show up every day and I need to do the full body workout. Do you? I don't think you do. It's better to show up every single day and just do 5 push-ups than it like not showing up at all. Because you think you need to do the whole workout and you think you need to be perfect. So let yourself off the hook and let yourself be imperfect and just show up. I guess like all of this is kind of boundaries work, like it's boundaries are masculine. Their preferences and their direct yeses, right? So it's like a boundary is this is a yes for me and this is a no for me. That's a boundary, right? Boundaries are preferences, they're not fences. So I hate it when people call boundaries like rules that other people need to follow. No, they're your personal preferences. So I personally prefer to be treated with respect by the men in my life. That is a preference. There are lots of women out there who do not care about being treated with respect by the men in their lives. I used to be one of them, so I know. I prefer now that this is how I'm treated. And if I'm not treated that way, I am not in that relationship. And that's a me thing. So boundaries are all about me. So how this can tie into self-discipline is I prefer that I brush my teeth every night and every morning, right? Because I prefer to have nice smelling breath and I prefer to feel fresh and clean and I prefer to have that backing of self-esteem and self-worth behind me so that I know when I encounter somebody, I don't have a bunch of shit in my teeth and I'm not like stinking up their life with my breath. Okay. That's a boundary for me. So these boundaries are something that you also have with yourself. It's not something that, well, boundaries are always something that you have with yourself. And like personal boundaries with self-discipline are their boundaries. They're boundaries that you have with yourself. They're boundaries that you set with yourself. Okay. Boundaries are based in values. I think this is a separate video. I made a lot of notes, but I did not organize them. So I might do a video on boundaries. I don't know. I feel like there's so much good information on boundaries out there. I'm not really a boundaries coach. Boundaries are like the kind of like they're easy, you know, it's just like their preferences. So, and they're easy to uphold once you have, like, once you understand your values, once you have that self-discipline, once you have that healthy self-respect. So boundaries just kind of come up naturally um, when you start showing up for yourself and proving yourself to yourself. And that's what this kind of self-discipline work is saying, this is how I want my life to be, and this is what I'm going to do to get that. And here's how I'm going to repair my relationship with myself so that this can happen for me. I already went into reframing. So, you know, well, I don't like doing the dishes. Okay. So you don't like doing the dishes. So either find a way to make it enjoyable for yourself, like saying, oh, it's going to feel so good once I do these dishes, or find a way to make it meditative. I love doing that, like playing with the water, you know, playing with the suds, making everything clean. That's so nice. It feels so good, right? Or you can hire somebody, you know, like reframe the things that you don't want to do to make them fun. 1% better. I touched on that. Oh, this is great. I wrote down everything and I already touched on all of it and I didn't even look at my notes. I'm so good at this. Let other people do things for you. That's that's funny that I wrote this down for self-discipline because that's true. I think part of feminine self-discipline is learning when you need to do things and versus when other people need to do things or when other people can do things for you. So like especially if you have like men around you, men in your life, they're going to want to offer to, if you're a feminine woman, they just kind of offer to do things for you, right? Let them. That is the universe literally giving you a gift, you know? Like, so let people take things off your plate. Let people do things for you. Let people fill up your gas tank for you if it's offered, you know, like let people when the universe opens a door, walk through it, you know, and say thank you. Gratitude. Gratitude is a big one. With self-discipline, you know, like feminine self-discipline, I like to call it feminine self-discipline. It's all about following your heart and it's all about healing that inner child and being there for that inner child and reparenting her and letting her see that she gets to have whatever she wants. You know? Hmm. Yeah. I think that's it. Let yourself be taken care of. And you do, like, I think a really good thing to remember is that you learn to recognize healthy masculine energy when you have it within yourself, when you've cultivated it within yourself, you know? And some people, like, it's supposed to be cultivated through the father. So your father is supposed to cultivate through you, but we live in a society right now where we're healing a lot of those. We're coming out of the wounded masculine patriarchy and we're going into a more integrated and healthy society. And so most people don't really have the healthy father figure. They don't have that healthy inner self-discipline. They're either tyrannizing themselves with things that they don't actually want to do every single day, or they have no self-discipline at all. So the way that you cultivate that healthy self-discipline is through that health, having that healthy inner masculine yourself, and you do that by creating that healthy relationship with your inner child and then reframing things so that your mind is not stuck in that kind of childish phase of, ew, the dishes are brushing my teeth is gross. You feel me? And I think another part of this is knowing yourself well enough to know what is correct for you. So I know for some women they wake up every single day and they put makeup on. Um, I don't do that. I'm not gonna lie, I don't do that. I'm not that woman. I think I look beautiful without makeup. I think I look beautiful with makeup. Sometimes I want to wear it, sometimes I don't, you know? So for some women that act is an act of self-discipline for them. For some women it's not. It's just fun or it's not fun. You know, to me it's not fun to wear makeup every day. I don't like doing it. It feels gross on my face sometimes if I don't feel like wearing it. If I feel like wearing it, it's nice. It's like whatever, you know. But if I wear it when I don't want to, I'm like, no, I don't want to do this, you know. So I hope that explained feminine self-discipline to you. I hope that I made it easy. I know that this is a long video, but all my videos are long because I like to ramble. I don't think you guys mind though. You don't think you do. If you do, let me know. That probably won't change, even if you do mind. But leave a comment. Please like my video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am going to start making more videos. I have been posting on Instagram again, so you can go and follow me on Instagram. I post on Twitter, but it's not really, I don't really post about work stuff. It's more just whatever ramble I feel like rambling on about at the moment. Sometimes it's relevant, sometimes it's not. But this will be more long form. Like my YouTube is gonna be where I have the more long form stuff, and then the Instagram is like kind of short form text posts that kind of go in depth. But this is where I'm gonna have like my long form stuff. So yeah, please again like, comment, subscribe, etc. I hope you have a wonderful day, week, month, year. Mwah. I love you. Bye.